Hey, what's up? This is Ivan with the Dream Job CEO YouTube channel, bringing you ideas on how to actually find your dream job. And in today's video, what I wanted to do is what I call a Friday coffee chat. And the topic would be how to create a LinkedIn profile that would stand out and that would help you sell yourself to potential employers and anybody else that visits your LinkedIn profile. Now, before I dive right in, consider subscribing below and enabling the notifications. I talk about a lot of cool things like how to create an amazing resume, how to network, how to interview, and other cool things. So with that, what I'm actually gonna do is I'm going to pull up my LinkedIn profile on an iPad, and I'm gonna show you some things that I would improve on that profile, because I think it's not perfect. So I would show you some things that you could improve, and also some things that are small but are super important details that you should take into account whenever you create your LinkedIn profile so that it would stand out and would be, more importantly, noticed by people searching for people on LinkedIn. So with that, let's get started. All right, so here is my LinkedIn profile page, and I'm gonna go through this step by step and talk about the different things that I could improve, as well as the things that I think are little details that should be highlighted. So the first thing that we have in here is a big picture, or the background picture, as well as your profile picture. For the big picture or the background image, it doesn't really matter what you have, as long as it's professional and it adds some color to your page. Now, for the profile picture, it absolutely needs to be professional. You've got to be wearing a business casual clothes or professional clothes. Make sure it's not a selfie, and it's done with good lighting, and it's done with a good camera. Sometimes what you could do is you could Google professional photography in your city, and you can find a professional photo shoot that somebody could do for, I don't know, $150, $200. But honestly, it's extremely important, because that's the first thing that people see when they go on your page, and that's the first impression that you could make. So definitely make sure it's professional. Don't do a selfie, and you'll be fine. Then you have your headline, and mine says a title, a role, a team, as well as the company that I work for. Now, sometimes I see people put something like, I help so-and-so do this, right? And I think it's fine, but honestly, I would do a title, and I would make sure that the title states exactly what you do. It's not vague. But I go like 50-50 on that. If it's a strong headline, and if you are, for example, if you're self-employed and you have a coaching business, then it would make sense to put a statement that tells people exactly what you do. All right, so the next thing, if we go down, the next thing is the about section. I think that a lot of people don't have this section filled out, and I think that's a huge miss, because in this section, what you want to do is, in a few paragraphs, really explain your or talk about your personal statement. And the personal statement, for me, for example, the first thing that I say is, what do I do today? And I talk about it in a very passionate manner, because I am passionate about what I do. I work with companies, I work with clients of Salesforce, and I help them. And I'm just really proud and humbled to be doing that. And so that's kind of what I highlight here. And then what I do is I talk about some of my background, and I start with the fact that I've graduated from an MBA program, and I focused on X. And then, the rest of this is basically a highlight of my career. And you want to be clear and concise in those highlights, but you also want to show the impact. It's got to be impactful. Don't put stuff like, I did X, Y, and Z. Say something like, so for me, for example, I say I contributed to winning a project proposal and getting over $660 million in funding. That's an impact statement. That's not something like these are my duties at this company. And then the last thing that you want to do is you want to put something unique about yourself. So for example, for me, I was on a varsity swimming and diving team at Michigan State. So I put that in here because it just adds the uniqueness to your profile. So definitely reserve that last section for something that you want to highlight that's unique about you. All right, moving on. And there's some activity there. I think it's good to share articles and to share different things that gives you some exposure to people in your network. But then we get into the experience. Now, this is the area where I think that I could have some improvement. And the reason that I say that is because in each of these sections, there is an area where you could highlight again and put some impact statements in there. Now, I have some awards that I put in one of these positions, but I think it could be 3 to 4 bullet points that honestly should reflect what you have on your resume. Maybe not everything that you have on your resume, but at least 3 to 4 bullet points that are impact statements that highlight what you do. And I think another important thing about this area is that those are the keywords that could be leveraged whenever somebody is searching for particular people to fulfill a position, right? And so you want to leverage that space not only to show people the impact that you've done, but also to put some keywords in there so that your profile shows up on top of search results. Another thing about search results that I would say, and I don't know if you knew that, but if you have a subscription to LinkedIn and you have a membership, that way it will boost you to be on top of search results, which is another important thing. I definitely recommend a subscription for LinkedIn because it gives you a lot of different benefits and I don't think the price is that high. If you're in the job search mode, or if you want to change careers, I would definitely recommend getting that subscription for at least that time period. All right, same thing here. I don't have a lot in here, so I think that's a huge area that I could improve in, and I definitely recommend putting 3 to 4 bullet points in here. And the profiles that really stand out to me have that in there. And it's just something that I haven't gotten to, and primarily because I'm not looking for a new job right now, and but if you are, it's definitely something that you could leverage. All right, I have some highlight in here. One thing that I would say is the section here. Sometimes it's good to put that in there to give people the full picture of your career without any gaps. But I also have that in my education section, and I do this just to show people when they just look at the timeline that I attended an MBA school in that particular time period when they look at just my experience. So that's the experience section. Again, the main thing there is put 3 to 4 impact statements or bullet points about what you've done and the impact you've had when you were in a particular position. Then you have your education section. One of the things that I would say in here is you want to highlight some projects, and that's another area of opportunity that I have. In here, for example, I've done a blog bootcamp program, and I put some description in there. But I think that if you have certain projects that you've done as part of attending a particular school, you want to put that in there. I actually have it in my resume, but I don't have it in here. That's another way to include some keywords in your profile. And leverage that space so that it could boost some of the experience that you've had. License and certifications. Nothing really major about that. I think it's I put that in here because I want people to mainly know that I am results oriented, and getting a CPA, for example, is not an easy task, and so I want to make sure I highlight that. Then you have the volunteer section, and in this volunteer section, put some volunteer experience that you have, and if you don't have it, maybe it's a good idea to do something. And one of the things that you could also do is, if you want to boost your experience in a particular area, and you want to find a non-profit that you want to help in that particular area, you could find those online and then put that experience in here. For example, if you're switching careers from a non-technical role to a technical role, and then you've done a boot camp to get ready to be in the technical role, and you've done some some work with as a volunteer somewhere to gain exposure, to gain experience, it would be good to put in there. Then you have skills and endorsements. You want to use that section to put some of these skills that could be leveraged in the search results as well. And this is also a way for other people to boost your skills, and I think it just adds a little bit of credibility. I honestly don't know if anybody looks at this versus that, but when somebody endorses you, I think it adds some credibility, and it also shows that you're strong in a particular area, because a lot of people have endorsed you in that area. So strategy, for me, data analysis, I would agree with that. All right, then we move on to accomplishments, organizations, and other things. This is just a way for you to also highlight some of the uniqueness about you. And remember when I showed you my personal statement up on top, I also highlight some of that experience in here. And I think it's important to give yourself a little bit of that uniqueness and have your profile stand out. And then interests and everything else, that's just, I don't think anybody looks at that, so I wouldn't worry about it. So this is pretty much it. I wanted to do this. You can see that I don't have a perfect profile, mainly because I am not looking for a job, but I know that people that have outstanding or extraordinary profiles that really work for them and help them sell themselves have those things in there. And it's a good idea to include those little details as well. But I think that if I would highlight 3 things about this that you could take away. Make sure your picture is professional. Make sure that you have a really good about section. Leverage the space and the experience to put 3 to 4 bullet points about the impact you've done, and I think you'd be about 90% there. And then the rest of those things is those little details that could help you create the unique profile that you need for you to sell yourself. So with that, I wanted to thank you for your time, and I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, drop a comment below, and I'll be sure to respond to that. But thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.